Do you know who to call when a power line comes down or a water main breaks? Have you been in a flash flood situation and wondered, what should I do? What goes into an emergency preparedness kit?
Batteries,
Stay tuned for the next episode of Did You Know to find out the answers. Hello, I'm Moran Lee. While life is generally quite predictable, there are those times when the unpredictable happens. From floods and blizzards, to power outages and carbon dioxide leaks, to flu epidemics and tainted food, Montgomery County citizens have seen their share of emergencies. Which is why you need to be prepared, not only by having extra batteries or food that won't spoil, but the knowledge of how to react in an emergency. For example, if you see somebody fall through the ice of a frozen pond, what's the best way to attempt a rescue? In this first part of a three-part series, Montgomery County public safety experts will explain what to do in all sorts of life-threatening situations. At the end of the show, look for contact information. So buckle up for Emergency 101.
Well, providing public safety is as high a priority as anything else we do. And we devote a lot of budget and people to it. We have approximately 1,100 police officers who work for the county police, and about that same number who are fire and rescue career personnel, and hundreds of volunteer fire and rescue personnel who have the same training as well as do the career. So we have a sizable force of first responders. We have people who are assigned in Health and Human Services to emergency response and planning. And they meet regularly with each other, and they run scenarios to test their preparedness so that we do scenarios that are as realistic as we can imagine they might be. So a lot of work is done on a day-to-day basis, and the county provides hundreds of millions of dollars to these agencies, primarily to the Police Department, Fire and Rescue, who are the lead agencies in emergency preparedness planning, to make sure, along with our Office of Homeland Security, that we are looking out for anticipating what could happen and staying ahead of the curve.
The Montgomery County Emergency Operations Center was completed in 2004 with the purpose of actually allowing all of those parties that respond to an emergency to gather in one place, share information, and then set priorities for the county to bring them back to normal. There were a lot of incidents over the last few years that we've been activated for. Many of you probably remember Snowmageddon. That was an event for 8 days where this operations center was active 24/7 to help bring people back to normal. Whether it was coordinating the opening of roads, whether it was coordinating signal repair, whether it was coordinating power restoration, all of those jobs are prioritized here so that we can bring the people back to normal.
Right now, Pepco says about 37,000 outages. That's down.
The reason why we're finding down power lines is because of a weather event, whether it was a storm with high winds, or maybe rain, or even heavy snow. In the event that you see a down power line, we recommend strongly that you do not touch it. Don't go near this wire. Basically, because it could be energized or it could become energized. So stay away from that power line. At that point, you can call the utility company. If it's anywhere on your property or in the neighborhood, go ahead and call the utility company and they'll take care of reattaching it and restoring service. The only time you should call 911 in regards to a down power line if somebody's in danger. If for some reason this power line came down as a result of a tree and somebody's trapped under the tree, somebody's injured because of this tree, then you should call 911. If anybody's hurt because they touched the down power line, you should call 911. But however, just it simply wires down on the neighborhood, in your property, please go ahead and call the utility company. Stay away from that wire because, again, it might be a wire that's either energized or can become energized at any point.
In the event of a power outage, it's best to keep the refrigerator and freezer door closed as much as possible. If you have food in the refrigerator and the door remains closed, it can be kept up to 4 hours. If you have a full freezer of food, you can keep that food for 48 hours. If it's a half freezer full, then you're talking about 24. There's a great website the United States Department of Agriculture has that lists all the foods you may have in question, how long they're good, how to store them normally, what the temperature of the refrigerator needs to be or the freezer, but it's a wonderful resource.
Can I go?
Go.
No, this guy.
Oh, now it's
not...
too late. Now it's too late. We should go with the green car.
All right, now do I go? No, now that lady's going. Okay, I'm going.
When the traffic signals are out at an intersection, just treat it like it's a four-way stop sign. Come to a complete stop and yield to the car that arrived at the intersection before you did. Now, when everyone arrives at the same time, it becomes confusing. That time, you yield to the car that's on your right. What becomes even more confusing is a multiple lane roadway when the traffic signals are out. In that, we prefer that the entire line act as if it's one car. If it's 2 lanes, both cars stop, both cars proceed when safe to do so when they have the right of way. 3 lanes, it's the same thing. Otherwise, it would be 1 car at a time, and you would be at that intersection for a considerable period of time, waiting for someone to say, oh, it's my turn to go.
Flash floods occur very quickly, thus the name flash. This is something that can occur actually within 5 hours of any significant rain event. We could have a flash flood in a down county area from something that occurred up county. So they happen so quickly, they catch people off guard, and people are left stranded in their vehicles or worse. Check this out. That's how quickly a flash flood can destroy a road. The Maryland National Capital Park Police and the Department of Parks have a comprehensive plan to handle flood situations in our stream valleys. This often requires us to shut down roadways and parkland adjacent to streams during a flash flood watch or a flash flood warning. If you happen to see barricades up or flares up or parked police vehicles or Department of Park vehicles, please do not enter that area. We've put those up for your safety. It's not for any other reason. And we will take them down as soon as we know that the threat of a flash flood is over. It only takes 6 inches of water to knock you off your feet. So remember, turn around, don't drown. During times of flash floods, it's not the time to go out and see the water or play in the water because it's unpredictable. If you're driving in your vehicle and you see water crossing a road, don't take the risk. You might think that because you're in an SUV or a higher vehicle that you have control and you're going to be able to make it across. But as you can tell from that video we saw, that you have no way of predicting whether or not you're going to make it across. The park police are here to make sure that you're safe in these instances where we have had as many as 20 cars underwater at a parking lot at Candy Cane City, and we've had to rescue horses from stables because of flooding. We're here to make sure you're safe. If we've got a road blocked off, remember, stay away. That doesn't just mean the road, it means the path, it means everything. Don't walk in that area, it's dangerous.
Alert Montgomery is a great system that we have to actually notify people via cell phones, Blackberries, pagers, to give them protective action information. People could sign up by going to alert.montgomerycountymd.gov, and from there they can pick different options that they want and the types of information that they want, whether it's severe weather, whether it's traffic information, whether it's law enforcement information. That's all these types of groups of information we send. An example of how we use the system just recently was there was someone that was actually the county was looking for, and they may have, it was a domestic dispute incident. We sent out a message to 115,000 email addresses with specific information on who this person was. We attached a picture, we gave their license plate address, and here was a message that we're looking for this person. If you see them, call 911. It's a very powerful message when you can get that out to hundreds of thousands of people, and we think the system's working great. We encourage everybody to sign up.
Flu season typically begins in the fall and it goes through the winter into the spring months, March and even sometimes April. Last year with the H1N1 flu virus that was out circulating, the flu season just kind of never ended. So we had a flu season that lasted about 1.5 years. It's important though that you get a flu shot. That's the flu vaccine is the best way to prevent getting the flu. The county does have flu clinics scheduled, and we are not charging for any of the flu vaccine that we're going to be giving out this year. This is the information sheet about the flu vaccine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a shot today. Have you had any reaction to any other vaccines that you've gotten that you might remember? If you want to find out where we're having clinics, we should have all the information up on our web the beginning of October, and you can find out where the clinics are. We're having clinics for children in the schools. We're having clinics for the general public. As I said, they will be free of charge. We have 3 different formulations of flu vaccines available this year. One is the Flu Mist, and that's for children and adults from 2 years to 49 years. The other is the injectable flu vaccine, which is what we've had for years, and that's for 6 months up to as old as you want to be. And then the last formulation is a high-dose injectable vaccine, which is licensed for people that are 65 and older. The county does have each of the formulations. We have limited amount of the formulation for the older, for the high dose, but we do have it. Again, it's free of charge. The information will be on our web, and we will be doing the same thing that we did last year with the H1N1. The clinics will all be made by appointment only, so that you can go onto the web, you can make your appointment on the web, you'll get a reminder email. If you don't have web access, you can call our information line, which is 240-777-1050, and we can make an appointment for you. But it's a good vaccine. It actually protects. There are lots of other clinics that are being held in the county by private community providers. And you can always go there. Plus your own medical provider may also have some flu vaccine. There should be lots of flu vaccine available, so there should not be any problem finding a place to get a flu shot. Our recommendation from Public Health Services in Montgomery County is that everyone over the age of 6 months should get a flu shot annually.
This past winter, we experienced a record amount of snow, and there's certainly a lot of good information for people to be aware of when we are experiencing a snow emergency. First, there are mandated snow emergency routes. If you live in a community where you have these roadways, you're probably already aware of which roads are designated as emergency roadways. Important thing to remember is if there is snow in the forecast, do not park on those roadways. It's also important to be prepared to shovel out fire hydrants so that if there should be a fire emergency, fire trucks can respond and hook up quickly to try to prevent any further damage that's going on due to a house fire or commercial fire in the area. We want people to be prepared, be listening to the weather forecasts, and take them seriously. No one has a crystal ball to be certain how much snow we're going to get. So it's important to be thinking in terms of being prepared. Make sure you have groceries, make sure that you have batteries for your radio, and be aware that if you lose power, that you have a backup system. Also, if you have a battery for your computer, you can get good information by looking at the Montgomery County website. Updated information about road closures and roads that were being plowed and schools and community services that were being closed and affected by snow are all posted on the Montgomery County website. We ask our community members to be responsible for shoveling out the sidewalks in front of their homes. That's very important. And we also understand that there are going to be individuals who, because of health restrictions and age, are not able to shovel. So if you live in a community where you can help out a senior citizen, where you can help out a young mother, who can help out anyone who needs assistance in shoveling out driveways and shoveling out sidewalks, we ask that you be that good Samaritan and help. It really takes everybody working together to get through these snowstorms.
In this region of the country, it is not safe ever to be on our streams or our lakes or our ponds that get frozen over. We have too many temperature fluctuations. So the first rule is don't go on the ice. Also, you need to keep your animals, your dogs, leashed so that they don't venture out, causing you to want to risk your life to save theirs. If you find yourself in a situation where you are on the ice and you happen to hear cracking, you need to flatten yourself to that ice. Gently lower yourself down and distribute your weight across as much surface area of the ice as you can as you crawl or push yourself back the same direction you came from. If you fall through the ice, first rule is don't panic. When you hit ice cold water, your body has a natural reflex and you will take a deep breath of air. You will find it hard to breathe. You're going to have to concentrate on breathing. You turn the direction from where you came because you know that the ice can support your weight. Then you're going to pull yourself up as much of your body out of the water as you can. After you do that, you can kick as hard as you can to get up on the ice fully and pull yourself sliding along the ice back to safe land. If you see someone else fall through the ice, you need to call 911 immediately. Again, using these same concepts of distributing weight, then you're going to get as low to the ground as you can. Try using a limb or a stick or something to help them pull themselves out of the water.
We have dozens and dozens of possible shelters available throughout the county. But for every emergency, we don't open up every one. After an emergency, one of the things that if you are displaced, either we will provide you information or we'll also put out there via mass media where shelters are and where people can go. During Snowmageddon, for instance, at one point in time we had as many as 5 shelters open. And as the number of people and the requirement for shelters diminished, we actually closed some of those shelters. While our capacity to open shelters is much, much greater than that, in reality, many of the events we have, we don't actually have to open up that many. So the important thing here is to know that, 1, we have enormous capacity, but 2, we don't open up every one for every incident. So people really need to stay in contact with both emergency responders, listen to them, call things like 311 where they could find out that information, or even go online, go to the county websites. This information we're always putting out so that if you need a place to go, we will find you a place to go. One last thing I want to remind everybody is a shelter, it's not a cruise ship, it's the lifeboat. Just remember that when you get there. One of the common questions we get is, what can I do with my pet during an emergency? Well, the Montgomery County Humane Society, actually allow us to, free up space so that people can bring their pets during many emergencies. Now, if there was a large emergency, we can open up a separate pet shelter. Many of the emergencies we've seen in the past, we've asked people to bring their pets to the Montgomery County Humane Society only because there have been a few pets. We know that this sort of separates people and pets, but it really is for the best of the pets so that we can put them in an environment where we know that they'll be safe and that the owners can pick them up after an event. So.
Most recently, we have responded to a number of events in which there was carbon monoxide exposure inside the home. After investigating, we did find that generators were being used. They were being used for different reasons. In particular cases that we went to, for the most part, there was a weather event, there was a power outages in the neighborhood, and folks were using generators to supplement the electrical service in their home. Those are very dangerous if they are stored anywhere close to the home, inside the home, to run any type of electrical service in the home. Those generators should be at least 20 to 25 feet away from the house. What happens is the generators are basically internal combustion engines. They produce carbon monoxide. That carbon monoxide, due to a wind change or a wind shift of some sort, that carbon monoxide can go into your home, and again, you can be exposed to carbon monoxide. If you are sleeping when you're exposed to carbon monoxide, potentially dangerous, obviously very poisonous gas. Other symptoms of carbon monoxide is simply a headache, being dizzy, nausea, and again, potentially can lead to death. So anytime you're going to use some type of portable generator, anytime you're going to use a portable generator, understand that they are dangerous, but you still can use them if you use them safely. And again, that's going to be at least 20 to 25 feet away from a home. Use the appropriate extension cords, the ones that are heavier enough to carry the electrical load. And again, they produce carbon monoxide. They are internal combustion engines, and can essentially, that gas can come inside your home and be a poisonous gas.
WSSC customers who see water running down their street should call us at our emergency call center, which is open 24 hours, and the number is 301-206-4002, or you could just look on your water bill to find the number. We serve 1.8 million customers, and we have a large distribution system. So often our customers are our eyes and ears in the field to let us know when there's a break, and we can get there so much sooner when you call us. Keep in mind though that there are some parts of the city of Rockville, Poolesville, and the city of Bowie who have their own water systems and WSSC does not serve, so you should call the water utility that serves those areas. As soon as WSSC is notified of a water main break, we get crews out to the scene as quickly as possible so we can restore water to our customers as quickly as possible. In the winter months, when we experience a few more water main breaks than at other times of the year, we also have standby crews available, and we can work with a contractor for emergency repairs. It usually takes about 4 to 6 hours to repair the site and restore water, although sometimes it can take a little bit longer. If we have to dig 10 to 15 feet below the earth into bedrock to get to a pipe, it's going to take a little bit longer. But if ever our customers are experiencing a water outage for 6 hours or more, or if there are more than 100 customer accounts affected, we'll ensure that gallon jugs of water are delivered for their use until we can restore water to them. After a water main break is repaired, sometimes the sediment that's in the pipe can be stirred up, and then that can cause the water to appear discolored when it comes out of your faucet. Now, this discolored water is not harmful, but you still shouldn't drink it. What you should do is run cold water through the tap until you get clear water, and that takes about 2 minutes. Now, our crews will also flush the water main lines through fire hydrants so that we can bring fresh, clear water with the appropriate level of pouring back into the water main.
An emergency preparedness kit is important for every family to put together so they have the stuff that they need to weather any event. We've put together one. It has everything from water to canned food, batteries, a flashlight, all of these things if you lose power you may need. But I think one of the most important things that any family should have is to make sure that they customize it for them. Some families may need something like, baby food. I think that prescription drugs are important. If you have prescription drugs, you want to make sure that you have some. Don't wait until you have that last pill in the bottle before you go refill that bottle. These are all the things that are important for any family. That customization is critical though. Things like contact lists, how you get in touch with other family members. We want to make sure that you put together a list for you. This is one sample. It may not look like the one that you have, but you should have one.
That's it for this episode of Emergency 101. Today we addressed just a few emergency situations. We'll be looking at more in future episodes. But in the meantime, here's a list of contacts. Thanks for watching and keep it safe.